some crappie facts to help you catch more fish. Crappies are one of the most sought after fish in the United States. They're common in lakes, ponds, rivers, and streams. Two similar but different species of crappies are the black crappie and the white crappie. They both generate excitement among anglers. They're a highly sought after fish. They're a good fish. They're a challenging fish to catch, number one, but they're a good fish to catch in that they fight decent. They hit very hard and they fight decent, but you have to still handle with care because their lips are so thin that you can pull your hook right out of their lips. So that's what makes it kind of a challenge. Okay, crappies are the largest member of the sunfish family, and they're native to or have been introduced to every state in the nation except for Alaska and Hawaii. Black and white crappies are fish of many names. Some of these names you may have heard and you may not have heard. Strawberry bass, calico bass, Oswego bass, speckled bass, specks, speckled perch, and sacolate and paper mouths. There's that paper mouth because they have such thin skin around their mouth. The world record for the largest black crappie is 5.46 pounds, and it was caught in Tennessee. The world record for the largest white crappie was 5.3 pounds, and it was caught in Mississippi. In May of 2006, a 19-inch, 5.02 pound state record black crappie was caught in Missouri and relocated to the Bass Pro Shop Aquarium in Springfield, Missouri. Thousands of people would view the giant crappie in its new home. So that's a pretty cool thing, man. White crappies are usually longer than black crappies. Black crappies tend to be a little wider and heavier than the white crappies of the same length. The average length for crappie is about 10.8 inches, and then the record for the longest crappie was 19.3 inches, and that was a black crappie, and that's a decent crappie, folks. That's a good one. Crappies have an average lifespan of about 7 years. It's been said that the oldest that's been recorded so far is about 15 years. They have 2 rows of small conical teeth, and they're called cardiform due to their resemblance of a wool carding tool. It's kind of like the bent hook combs, I guess, is the best way to describe that. Kind of like shark's teeth, how they bite backwards, they pull back into their mouth so that the fish can't get away from them. But the best way to distinguish the species is look at their fins. The anal fins of the white crappie always has 6 spines, while the black have no spines on their anal fins. Black crappies have 7 to 8 pointy spines on their dorsal fins, while white crappies have 6 pointy spines on theirs. Crappies can live in all waters, honestly. We've caught them in slow-moving waters, streams, and caught them shallow, caught them deep. So, the white crappies are just basically anywhere that there's water in northern United States, in the 48 continental states. Black crappies prefer deeper, cleaner waters of lakes and ponds, and ponds need to have an abundant aquatic vegetation. They're schooling fish, and both species will form and travel in large groups. Morning and evening are prime feeding times for crappies. Crappies will also feed in darkness until midnight. 2 a.m. is about prime time for feeding. Adult crappies love, or a favorite forage is a small minnow and juvenile fish, and they'll eat other food items. Black crappies eat more insects and crustaceans than white crappies. Black will readily forage for insects that are on the surface. So more of a top water, not more of one, but are apt to hit top water. Never caught a crappie on top water, however, though. The favorite dining area for crappies is around submerged bush and aquatic vegetation and so on. And they'll hide their ambush fish. They like to ambush their prey. The crappies also eat their predators when these predatory fish are juveniles, and their predators are walleye, northern pike, muskie, and bass. The eye size of a crappie is one of the largest among the similar body sized freshwater fish. They have very big eyes, and they have an upward and forward position on their nose, and because of this, crappies will hunt for prey that is in front and above their body. So that's, I don't know if that's something you know or not, but that's typical of a crappie. You like to fish just above the line. If you see them on your sonar at 12 feet, you want to try to hit them at about, throw about 11 feet, and that way they look up all the time to see their to see their stuff, to see their baits. Okay, now black crappies are usually triggered to spawn when water temperature reaches 60 to 64 degrees. Okay, white are usually triggered to spawn when the water hits 65 to 70 degrees. So they're a little later in the spring than other fish. Other fish usually come in about 50-55, like the bass and so on. Male crappies will build a spawning nest for the female, fanning their fins and body to carve out a bowl-shaped depression in the bottom. And it's usually always shallow water, 2 to 5 feet deep. The black female crappies can lay up to 140,000 eggs when they nest, and the white crappie will lay about 200,000. So after egg laying is finished, the female leaves the nest and the male guards the nest. And crappies usually hatch within 5 days, and the juvenile crappie will initially feed in tiny zooplankton. Okay, favorite lure callers for attracting and catching crappie are linked to water clarity and depth. In clear, deep water, the most productive colors are blue, white, purple, white. So blue and white and purple and white. In shallow, stained water, most productive colors are brighter shades like chartreuse, green, lime, orange, and pink even. So that's a little bit of information about the crappie. Now this is a topographical map, okay? I'm going to show a little bit. This is the Mississinawa Lake Dam here in Indiana. I'm going to go through and show you a little bit about how to read a topographical map and how to fish it possibly. So we're going to go ahead and hit on springtime for crappie. In the wintertime, I know I said spring, but in the wintertime, the crappie will be all down in this deep water down in here. So you're looking at 64, 58, 60, 60, 58, all that 58 and 60 foot of water there will be they'll be down into the depths of that because the upper layer is going to be frozen. So in the spring, when the thaw comes around, what you'll have is the water starts warming up in these shallows. Okay, in these shallows, let me find a good shallow area here. Let's just go with this one right here. In this little area right here, and we're going to go from the boat first, fishing from a boat. If you have sonar, you would use that to get your depths. A lot of the sonars nowadays, you can put this map in and you can set waypoints or whatever to take you all around the lake at the same depth. And they show the depth of the fish on the sonar. So you have, again, if you see the fish are all at about 12 feet, you want to hit it, throw it out there about 10, 11 feet and go just above them and try to get down there where you can entice them to bite. But I'm wanting to talk to the bank fishermen too, because you can use these topographical maps before you go out there. Okay, meaning this is the dam at Miss Cinewall. This right here would be the dam, and this will go down into. Ooh, it doesn't show it on here, but there's a river here. You know, the spillway is right here, and you follow that river on out and fish it. But anyway, this is the dam. So anybody that's familiar with the area knows exactly where this is. This would be a good catfish spot, by the way. 10-foot flat. You got some. This comes up. If you look, that goes down to 40 feet, down to 20 and 16 foot. There's a flat over here of about 16 to 12 feet or so. And then there's a flat right here. This flat's a 10-foot flat. What that would be, that'd be good for catfish. I get a little sidetracked. Let's go back to the crappie, okay? Now we've decided to go fish this flat right here. What happens is in the springtime, you know, obviously this water is going to warm up quicker than the water down here. So as that water warms up, bait fish will come up in these shallows. And when they're up here in these shallows, that will allow, or they come up for the warmer water. Well, all the other predators come up to feed on them when they do that. So if I was fishing this area right here, knowing that I go from 10 foot or 2 feet, 2 feet at the bank out to this flat of 10 feet, I would be focused on this area right here. This whole area is nice. This is a nice gradual drop all the way out to 30 feet. That would allow you to hit, you know, the warmer waters up here at the banks. You know, 2 feet of water, I'd throw out a foot along, you know, a foot deep along through here using a bobber or a float, as some people call it. 1 feet, that doesn't work. Go out here, you got this next little drop-off ledge. That's 6 feet of water. So you throw, you know, you have options of gradually taking down to 3, 4, 5, 6 feet. No, okay, 7, 8 feet, 10-foot flat. You know, you can start picking your depths out to single out those crappie. Once you find those crappie, say I find them at 7 feet, we got a real quick warm up. The water's real nice and warm up here, but down here is still good and chilly. They're at 7 feet. Well, I can follow that 7 feet all the way around here now. This is a 10-foot flat, 8 foot, 12. I can fish 7 feet all the way around these points here, and should be able to pick up on crappie all the way around through there. Even all the way down in here, you know, you still have 7 feet of fishing. And so this is where I would mark off on a map to start. And, you know, you can follow it all the way around through here. You know, here's another one. 8, 10, 12, 16, real gradual. This is a quick drop off right here from 0 to 8. Be a nice place for catfish again. So that's, you know, that's how I would fish use the topographical map. Here's another good flat, 8, 16 to 26. Gradual gradients of dropping in depth there. And this is a nice little flat right up and through here. So anyway, that's springtime. Summertime, in the summertime, once the spawn's over, you know, again 64, 70 degree water, once that spawn is off, those fish are going to start hitting an area just above the thermocline in the water. The thermocline, if you remember, you go back to a couple of videos back when I was talking about fall transition for bass fishing. We talk about how the water splits up into different levels, and I show the thermocline in there. Thermocline is the section of water that has the most oxygen in it. That's the one the fish will be most active in, and really what you like to target for fishing in the hot dog days of summer. But that's going to be about the midway of the water. So if you was to fish, say, this area right here where it just drops straight to 62 feet, you want to get that depth down there pretty deep in the hot summer days, so you can pick up your crappie there. And that's something this topographical map doesn't show too, is it doesn't show structure. Structure for crappie, you want to hit trees and even rocks and depressions and things like that in the water. Even these flats, some of these flats might be good because it's a good area. So you got this flat right here. Let's look at that. You got a 30-foot flat right here. Well, that's surrounded by, or this is the top of a plateau, and it goes down to 50 feet, and this goes up gradually, but it's pretty much just a little flat because it's only a 4-foot incline to here, 6 feet incline to here. So that's 30 feet deep, and this is 24. So that inclines up 6 feet. But anyway, that's a good transition for anything swimming over this hill. Bam, they're in an ambush point, and that's a big flat for them to hang out. If there's any structure in this flat, this would be a really nice place to fish in the hot summer months. And then in the fall, when all thermocline and the other two layers of water that I can't remember, when that oxygen starts to level back out in that water, then you want to go back in these channels and stuff, because your bait fish are going to go back here, and they're going to be in the warmer water. They chase the bait fish. Bam, that's what you get. Same with catfish and other species of fish. They all do about the same thing. But there's a quick overview of how to use a topographical map. This right here, I may try to hit that this year for some catfish. I think that'd be real nice, especially on the fall. But anyway, so that's a little bit of an overview on crappie, on how to fish topographical maps for crappie. And I hope you learned something, man. Thanks for joining us again this week. We appreciate you.
What are you talking about? Creek Beaters TV? That's awesome.